Hello, in this video I'll be doing the Roving Elves quest in Old School RuneScape. It's a requirement for Song of the Elves. And I'm going to also be doing Sheep Herder, after which I only have 4 more quests to do. Morning's End Part 1 and 2. So to begin the quest, you teleport to Ardoon, and you're going to go and speak with Captain Barnaby and go to Brimhaven. Do I not have gold? Oh. Okay. Whatever, I messed it up anyway. Okay. Phew. Alright. So, in this video, I'll be doing the Roving Elves quest in Old School RuneScape and Sheep Herder. So to begin, obviously, you go to Ardoon. You make sure you have gold with you. I'm going to run southeast to Captain Barnaby and travel to Brimhaven. Once you get to Brimhaven, you're going to run west to the other boat. So once you get to Brimhaven, you're going to run west to the other boat, and you're going to travel over to Port Tyrus. Okay. Okay. So you're going to run northeast at Port Tyrus into the camp, and you're going to go north of the camp, go through the dead trees, and then you're going to make a U. Upside down U. Looks like this place is heavily guarded by Spartans. I would have enjoyed this 2 years ago a little bit more. Alright, so let's go southeast. Once we get north of the camp. So this is where the catapult is, I guess. Is this another catapult? Alright, so once you go southeast, you need Eluned and Isilwin to be here. You may need to switch maps or switch worlds if they're not here. But so I'm going to talk with Isilwin, and I'm going to say option 1 to start the quest. Hello there. So I'm wearing, let me go full screen actually. Alright, so here you're going to talk to Isilwin, and you're going to say option 1. Now, you're the human that killed Tyrus. Ariane Wynn told us about you. That's me. Could you take me to Ariane Wynn? Why should we? All you humans do is take and destroy, with no care for others. We don't need your help. You've done enough damage. Well, I admit I made a few mistakes, but my intentions were good, I swear. Maybe, but it's not a risk worth taking. It was the acts of humans that led to my grandmother's death. You'll bring similar ruin to us. Your grandmother. Valerial, wife to King Baxtorian. Let me up the game volume. Okay. Valerial, wife to King Baxtorian. At one time, my grandparents ruled over a great elven kingdom, but your kind put an end to that. Valerial, I know that name. I visited her tomb. I moved her remains to Baxtorian Falls. I thought that was where she would want to be. You moved her into the waterfall? That's the perfect place for her to be. Maybe this human isn't as bad as you think, Isilwin. Maybe. Very well, human. We will take you to Ariane Wynn. But first, there is something you must do. If my grandmother has been moved, then her new tomb must be consecrated. Do this and you will earn my trust. So I'm going to say option 1 while speaking with Isilwin. Start the quest. Deal, what do I need to do? I don't think the consecration process itself. You should speak with Eluned. She is wise in the ways of the ritual. Will do. So Eluned may not be on this world, but she happens to be here as is this guy. Okay. Hey there, Izawind said you might be able to help me. He told me you know how to consecrate ground for an elven burial. I need to consecrate Glariel's new resting place. That I do. It is elvish tradition to plant a specifically enchanted crystal seed at the graves of our ancestors. The seed will create guardians to protect the area. Unfortunately, the crystal seed must be turned to the person it's protecting. A new seed won't do, but you should be able to recover the seed from her old tomb. I'm not very familiar with the lands to the east, so I couldn't tell you where her tomb is, I'm afraid. That's okay. I've been there before. It's just southeast of Axtorian Falls. Excellent. Now the tomb's guardians will be protecting the seed. You'll need to defeat one of them to get it. Once you have it, return to me and I will re-enchant it. Okay, I'll be back as soon as I have it. Okay, so I'm gonna head to the easiest bank. Deposit all my items and I'm gonna fight the moss giant. Everything besides Glariel's pebble. And I'll bring some food with me. We'll see if that works. Okay, and skills necklace. Okay. Nice, they got the Bugs Bunny Lost in Time game. Alright, so at the GE, you're just gonna want to bring food and your skills necklace to get to the fishing guild. Because we're gonna go into the tomb to fight a moss giant. I brought food and 2 things of jewelry. I unequipped everything. So I unequipped everything and I'm gonna run northwest to the tomb again. And this is my inventory currently, just to fight a moss giant. Here's my current levels. You shouldn't be doing this unless you basically intend to do Song of the Elves. Alright, so I'm going to use Glariel's Pebble on the tombstone. I managed to climb down it. So I'm going to activate... I can't activate Piety. Alright, so I'm going to fight the Moss Guardian and make him drop the consecrated seed. I'm a pretty high level for this fight. Obviously, I only recommend doing the Moss Guardian fight if you happen to be doing Song of the Elves. Like, actually doing Song of the Elves. So something that would help you is the Piety Prayer by doing the Camelot quest series with Sir Lancelot. Fully edited for the next person who can do Song of the Elves. Of course. Okay, so I'm about to beat the Moss Guardian. He's gonna drop an item that I need. A consecration seed. Perfect. So let me head back to the GE. So I'm gonna head back to the bank and grab whichever items I need. Okay. So I need a spade, a rope, games necklace, skills necklace, food, anti-poison. Okay. food. And Ardoon teleports probably. Okay. Oh, and I need that amulet. Okay. Alright, so I went to the nearest bank and obviously I have the amulet, the consecration seed, Ardoon teleports, super anti-poison, games necklace, ring of wealth, skills necklace, spade, rope, hilarious pebble. So now I'm gonna head back to Port Tyrus by going to. So now I'm gonna head back to Port Tyrus by teleporting to Ardoon. I'm gonna run southeast to Captain Barnaby and travel to Brimhaven. There's always that mage who's like just ever present, like permanently. Yeah. I'm so used to playing alright. Yeah, I'm so used to playing RuneScape 3 that kind of messed me up with the coins. Alright, so I have all the items I need. I have a spade, rope, super anti-poison, Ardoon, skills necklace, games necklace, ring of wealth, consecration seed, and gnome amulet. And gold. So let's teleport to Ardoon. I'm gonna run to the southeast and travel to Brimhaven, and then travel to Port Tyrus on that western ship. Let me skip ahead. Yeah, these 32-degree cool shirts are super nice. Like they don't have like the tent on your biceps. Travel to Port Tyrus. Okay. Okay. Let's run back to Eluned and Isilwin. I wonder if this is like a faster way to get through the quest. Let's see where this is on the world map. The fact that there are elves is like highly interesting. Like even if you're running in like a circle, it's like definitely like very interesting to me. Alright, so they happen to not be on this world. So let's switch worlds. Not in this world. So this is like reverse PvP at this point. I'm just gonna switch worlds until I find both Isilwin and Eluned. So this is like reverse PvP. How like all this time people were switching worlds just to find where you are. Which is super realistic. Look at the trees. The trees look really nice here. I've never seen this type of tree in the game. Very nice. At least they were there in the first world I was in. Nice. So Isilwin and Eluned are here. So I'm going to talk to Aluned so she could enchant the necklace or the consecration seed. You hand the crystal seed to Aluned. How odd. I can see her lips moving, but there's no sound. Aluned hands you an enchanted crystal seed. Plant the seed in Glariel's new tomb, close to the remains. With that in place, she will rest in peace, under the waterfall. Okay, will do. So I managed to talk to Aluned, and she essentially enchanted my consecration seed. So now I just need to go to the waterfall area and use the rope on the rock. So let's teleport to the fishing guild with my skills necklace. That's kind of cool. This looks like the Death Star, the inconspicuous hole. Like the Destiny 2, the cyber level has that type of button. Death Star has that type of button. Alright, so I teleported to the fishing guild and I'm going to run northwest to the waterfall area. And I'm going to use the enchanted consecration seed to put Glariel to rest in the waterfall. Alright, so I return to the waterfall. I can't believe the barbarian thing that you need like 56 fishing to do is still there. Alright, so you board the raft. You're going to use the rope on the rock. And then you're going to use the rope on the dead tree. Climb into the waterfall tomb. And you're going to place the enchanted crystal seed right near the... Oh, use it on that tree. Okay. So in here, you run to the northeast, and you're going to search these 2 crates for a key, and then you're going to go to the northwest. This looks like one of the Oblivion Daedric statue quests, where they have like the table set up on the roof, or like the big table set up, and it's like what else do you want? Alright, so this area loads again. Make sure you don't click on the chalice. And I'm going to plant the consecration seed right near the chalice. Whoa. So in Roving Elves quest, you get like a crystal tree to appear out of the ground when you plant the enchanted crystal seed. Very cool. Right near the trophy. Okay. Alright. So this part's very easy. Alright, so after you plant the seed, you're going to go to Ardoon. Obviously, other people are somehow magically in there as well as during Slayer Music 1's stream. Alright, so just basically travel back to Port Tyrus and then go talk to Iselwyn and say option 1, shielder for wimps, and then you complete the quest. That's pretty simple. That's like a quest you could do without looking, but might as well look. Plus I write down all my notes, so I could do a video with like a timeline with all of the notes for every quest. And then I could do a typed version of it. And I've done quite a bit of quests. I always have the items required, my notes, the skills required, the quests required. So it has everything. That video will get like 2 views, but at least before my phone breaks. Alright, let's try switching worlds again. And we could talk to Iselwyn to finish off the quest. Perfect. So 302 seems to be pretty good. So let's talk to Iselwyn to finish off the quest and say option 1. Is it done? It is. Your grandmother's resting place has been consecrated. Says thank you. I admit I was wrong about you. You have showed care and compassion that I didn't think possible for a human. As promised, we will take you to Arianwin, but first a reward for you. Iselwyn shows you a crystal bow and a crystal shield. We elves use equipment formed out of crystal itself, far superior to human weapons. However, the crystal does degrade, and you will eventually revert to seed. Both the shield and the bow I'm carrying have been used, so are not at their full potential. They should still be quite useful though. Fascinating. What do you mean by revert to seed? All elven crystal starts as a seed. It can then be sung into various shapes through the power of the voice. Eventually, he's talking about in Perfinidness, you can do the one quest, the Corrupted Gauntlet. And if you do it a certain amount of times, you can sing a crystal, enhanced crystal weapon seed, into a blade of Saeldor or a bow of Ferdinand. Keep an eye out for the elf named Ilfbean as you wander the forest. She could chant crystal seeds into new items for you. I will, thanks. Anyway, I'm sure you'll learn more about crystal seeds as you spend time with our kind. The bow of Ferdinand has infinite arrows, and it's the strongest bow in the game, which is why I'm doing this. Which one of these creations would you like? I don't like running and hiding behind mushrooms. Shield, please. Shields are for wimps. Give me the bow. Alright, if you ever need a replacement, I could sell you another. Remember, the better the condition of the crystal equipment, the more potential it has. Access to crystal equipment. Wow. I completed Roving Elves. I got a crystal bow. That's pretty cool. Wow. So in Roving Elves, when you complete it, you get a crystal bow. I had no idea that happens. Range strength is 78. Range is plus 100. Wow. I've been doing way too much. Alright, so time to do Sheep Herder quest in OSRS. So let's head over to Valador Park and go to the bank. I need 100 coins and an Ardoon telly, it seems. Oof. My character's not poisoned. Perfect. Okay. So, stamina potions. Nice. Okay. Let me get one more stamina potion. So I'm going to be pushing sheep around for a pretty long time. Those are pretty cheap. But yeah, I'm being devious. I bought all the blood and mana rays. And I have 2 bow of Ferdinands. Devious. Okay. Okay. So to start this quest, you're gonna teleport to Ardoon. Okay. Hey, so in old school RuneScape, you could do the sheep herder quest by teleporting to Ardoon, and you're gonna run to the general store, which is near the East Ardoon Church. Alright, so you run west from the Ardoon teleport, and near the East Ardoon Church, you're gonna talk to Counselor Hallgrive to start the quest. Hello, how are you? I've been better, so I'm gonna say option 1. What's wrong? So, to Counselor Hallgrive, you're gonna say option 1 and 1. They believe that the sheep become infected with the plague. Are you sure it's the plague? The mourners seem convinced, and they're the experts. Even if it's not, though, the sheep are clearly diseased in some way. As the counselor responsible for public health and safety here in East Ardoon, I'm in charge of dealing with this problem. We need someone to herd these sheep into a safe enclosure, kill them quickly and cleanly, and then dispose of their remains hygienically in a special incinerator. Unfortunately, nobody wants to risk catching the plague, as I am unable to find someone willing to undertake the mission for me. So option 1, start the sheep herder quest. Yes, I can do that for you. You will. That is excellent news. Head to the enclosure we have set up on Farmer Brunty's land to the north of the city. The 4 infected sheep should still be somewhere in that vicinity. Before you go, you'll be entered the enclosure. However, you must ensure that you have some kind of protective clothing to prevent contagion. Where can I find protective clothing? Dr. Orban should have something suitable. You should be able to find him in the chapel just north of here. Please also take this poisoned sheep feed. We believe poisoning the sheep will minimize the risk of airborne contamination. The counselor gives you some poisoned sheep feed. How will I know which sheep are infected? The poor creatures have developed strangely discolored wool and flesh. You should have no trouble spotting them. There should be 4 in total. So I'm going to talk to Dr. Orban for plague clothes. Hello, doctor. I need to acquire some protective clothing. Protective clothing? I'm afraid I only have 1 suit, which I made myself to prevent infection from any contaminated patients I treat. I suppose I could sell you this one and make myself another, but it would cost you at least 100 gold, so that I could afford a replacement. Okay, I'll take it. Option 1. The Dr. Orban. He hands over the protective suit. Alright, so I'm going to pick up my equip my plague trousers and my plague chest plate. Alright, so I'm going to run northwest of the church and then go north. Okay. So here's one group of sheep. Another group is up here into, I think, the east. Another one is to the northwest, and another one's to the northeast. Okay. So I'm going to pick up this cattle prod just outside the north exit, right here near the furnace. Yeah, there's another sheep. Like I said. Alright, so let's take the cattle prod. And now I could equip it, and I could push all the sheep into here and burn them after feeding them. Okay, so the first group of sheep are right near the northern exit. You just prod them, and then they go in the direction that you want them to. So the first one is basically over here. I'm just going to prod them the direction I want them to go. And you have to like keep prodding them. Jeez. Alright, so I'm bringing the first group of sheep over here. It has to be like super exact. And they only go so far from one prod. It's like healing yourself with items. And if you're not exactly at their side, then they don't move. Alright, so if you're exactly at their side, and they stop moving after a pretty short amount of time. And if you're diagonal, it doesn't work, so... pretty good. I guess this one just gets stuck. I have to wait for it to like wander. Alright. That one just stand there forever. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, let's see how the other sheep is doing. Still stuck there forever. Okay, so I'm gonna do this sheep over here. To the northeast. My red one got stuck, so you have to do one of each color. You have to be both patient and exact. And stop it right there. Perfect. That's one. Let's get another red one. And then you got one up here and one over there. So the red one, if you push him to the door, then No. The red ones, you just have to wait for it to be exact. There we go. I already got the green one from over here. Won't get fooled again. Alright, let's push it back a little bit. Get away from these bushes over here. There we go. Absolutely no rush. Poke it from right over here. No. There we go. Perfect. Alright, let's go to the northeast. I'll poke these sheep. I remember this is for Song of the Elves quest. And I'm sure you guys have played Silicon Valley on the N64. So this one's to the northeast of the Potato Head. Silicon Valley in the N64 obviously features robotic animals that you're a chip and you're able to take control of all the animals. Which obviously, as it turns out, was like significantly true. Because chips were worth a lot of money. I rented Silicon Valley from West Coast Videos or whatever it was called. It was before Blockbuster existed. Alright, so these are to the northeast. And yeah, I mean, I believe Silicon Valley on the N64 is a really, really fun game, even still. It features like a crashed rocket ship that takes control of animals like polar bears and sheep. And you have to fight like a robot dog and everything. Very fun game that I rented from West Coast Videos. Also, all that progress on this one. So his right move is really important. Oh, if you mess it up at all, then you have to start over. Alright, let's try that again. I gotta wait for him to go to like near in front of the fence. Both his right turn and his left turn are very important for the northeast one, so. And you can't push him near the bush. I heard pros they play this to like practice. There we go. That's the third one. Phew. Third one done. So the fourth one's to the northwest. The third one was to the northeast. Oh, wow. Let's defeat these enemies to open up space. Perfect. Alright, here's the fourth one. I avoid the goblin. This one's pretty easy. I avoided the rock. Avoided the bushes. Oh my god. I did not mess that one up, dude. That makes no sense, dude. Like, it needs to go directly in. Where's he going? Oh, perfect. I wonder if you have like a limited amount of prods to do. No. Yeah, so it looks like you get like a decent amount of prods. Oh, so you can walk on the rocks there. Perfect. I got all 4 sheep. Alright, now I need to feed them sheep feed and then put their bones in the furnace. And I'm done with the quest. So you sheep feed on that one. Pwned. You sheep feed on that one. Pwned. You sheep feed on that one. And then you sheep feed on the final sheep. You guys gotta try Silicon Valley on the N64. So now I'm gonna burn all their sheep bones. Such a fun game. Always fun. Now let's put their bones in the furnace where they belong. With my proper attire. Nice. So now I could just return back to that dude. Let's use an Arjun teleport. Run west, and I'm done with the quest. And then I have 4 more quests for Song of the Elves. So let's talk to Counselor Halgrave. Have you managed to find and dispose of all the sheep? Yes, I have. Please let me reimburse you the 100 gold it cost you for your protective clothing. Here's another 3,000. Nice. Alright, so I'm gonna log off. I had no idea my webcam froze, but GG's.